dues go up and they stay up. And you try to, write into the law that it'll come back down, but it doesn't come back down. And it was because the majority of members of the board, having reflected on that, decided that's what would happen to you. If we bump you from what you are now, 2-something, to 3-something, it'll stay at 3-something after this is done. A later board will say, but we need that money for that, it gives us healthier reserves. But that other board said that they were going to, reduce it again after this was done. Well, we disagree. These are the problems of democratic, legislative, leadership and management. And so the board just decided that it was better to go with one-time assessments rather than dues increases, because at least you spend that money once and no one can come and get more of your money, right, in an ongoing way, the way taxes are. Yes.
I just really appreciate what you guys said about volunteering your time and not being professional. And I'll ask what I asked at several meetings I've come to before, which is, I for one would feel more comfortable if we did have a professional at least reviewing these contracts, because my limited understanding of construction is that you can be held over a barrel by a contractor who has no intention of finishing your job until you pay more than you said you were going to pay. Yeah. So who's going to oversee the project in a professional way to make sure we don't all get bamboozled by a siding company, and to take care of things like these EPA laws that you guys aren't trained to look at? I would rather have someone professional who knows what they're doing.
This is an excellent question, and it goes to something I mentioned earlier, but I want to emphasize it, so this is a great chance for me to go into this. Just to let you know, it's not something we can institute tonight, but as a part of this process that we've been going through of trying to figure out, and it's not this week, it's not since the assessment and all the emails, it's been going on since these emergencies crossed. We've been trying to figure out why we're where we are and what we can do to get out of it. And I've become persuaded, and several other board members have become persuaded, that we need some professional advice. We've been getting some from some people in this room, and we need more. And I have found a person who does property management for Vermont. She runs it, and therefore she does property management for multiple HOAs in this area. And she's going to come to the board meeting in September and look at our situation, look at our on-site management, and look at options we have. But the main thing she's going to do, and we may have to pay for this, but I think it'll be worth it, is get some professional advice from someone who does this for a living. Because none of us do it for a living, And we are hanging by our thumbs, trying our best, based on grandfathered-in policies from earlier boards and people's best guesses. And what we're finding is that, mistakes were made, as they say.
Jason, can I address? I wanted to follow up on a piece of your question, which is, Bradley Brothers has already done 2 of our roofs. 4. And we've had no problems with them. They've come in on time. They did what they said. They're professionally vetted. The siding company is one here in Boulder with a great reputation, with a long history of things.
It's actually in Colorado. It's down in Denver.
Sorry, these details are a bit wrong, but
they're bonded.
But this is, we go to great pains to filter through all the bids we get. Somebody bids low. We look at their history. We say, how could these other reputable firms be bidding 30% more? We don't believe that bid. We go for the more reliable. Bradley Brothers has done what they said. Horn Brothers did what they said with the mansard roofs. We have not gotten burned on that. We're very careful about oversight, constantly being involved in the project, not just being, okay, yeah, you go ahead, Bradley Brothers, do the roofs. So, we're very involved in that, and we've had good success so far.
Just to complete the thought that I was following, because what he said adds something that I want to add too, which is this, that we're going to undertake, looking into, getting this professional advice, and the advice is going to be about how we are doing things with our annual budget of nearly $800,000. And this person is a professional, is going to look over how we spend that money, and is going to advise us about options we have, And this is gonna affect how we go forward. And it's an open question at this point, what we decide to do. And anyone who has something, productive to contribute to that discussion, we invite you to come to the meeting.
Jason, sorry, just to follow up. So, two follow-up questions. One is, she's not coming till sometime in September.
Well, I'm actually gonna be getting advice from
Okay,
her.
but what if she says that this plan is actually not workable?
Why isn't it
And
done before
the
the
other-
assessment?
Hang on. The other question is, how current are our bids? Do we have a signed contract? What are the chances these prices will actually go up after we've assessed? And then what happens?
We have a firm proposal from Platte River, and the last I checked, Bradley Brothers was standing by their numbers.
Right, well, EPDM rubber follows oil, and so oil's been down.
So it's been holding steady.
So we're actually trending lower than the last roofs per square foot on our EPDM.
But this actually raised, this is one of those places where, why so soon? What's the urgency? One of the urgencies is hardy board, which is the siding we're putting in, could go up in the future if we don't accept this agreement with this siding company now. They're committing themselves to a price now for roofs siding they're gonna do 3 years from now. And the same is true for roofs. The likely thing is they'll go up if we find a roof that somehow actually doesn't leak weight, when we do have to replace it, it's gonna be more expensive. So it's partly to try to keep the costs down. But indeed, there is a problem because we can't get firm. Unfortunately, here's how contractors work. They're willing to sign a contract when you're willing to sign a check. And so, trying to get prior arrangement before we assess is, so we're trying to do it right at the same time. And we will be sitting down with them in September, right away, as soon as there's enough money, put earnest money down, just to get them committed. So, yes. Oh, okay. Please.
I apologize for shouting out. I've been here since 2001, I'm a homeowner, and one of the things, this is a segue, but I think it's important. One of the things I hear over and over again at meetings is we can't do that because it takes a 75% approval to change the bylaws. I'd just like to throw that out as something we need to change about the bylaws.
If we can get 75% just for that, we can make it a reasonable.
Okay, maybe start with that one change. Maybe add some others that are important, but focus on where the problems are. If that's hanging up things, let's change the bylaws, make it 60% or 55%.
Great
The
idea.
bylaws aren't,
Great.
we've got them locked, so we can't change them when situations change.
We're
We
in
need
prison.
to fix that.
I was stunned when I heard this.
Yeah.
Well,
This has come up
but I've heard
at
it.
many board meetings when we wanted to do something.
So should we take a number of homeowners here?
Let's worry about that later.
Can we take that on?
They never have this many
Just
again.
put that one out as a change, make the bylaws change.
Well, we don't have a number. That's the problem. That's the
Oh, I counted 120 sometime ago.
I've heard,
That's less than half.
Oh, really?
I've heard very clearly from people tonight that they'd like a chance to change things that were set in motion in 1978. And where were we in '78? We're frustrated by it. We're hamstrung by it to an extent. So I will take it on as a personal measure of mine to try to see how that goes. It might entail contacting homeowners. So, yes, okay, so I just wanted to say that.
I would like to help with that, Dan.
Okay,
Aaron
that's great.
Jones.
Great. Great.
Just wanted to ask a question. We all had a meeting a couple weeks ago. Someone in the meeting who sounded like you was talking about said that the board had opened up a line of credit. And we kind of like came in and out of the room and nobody said anything about it, but it disturbed me, especially in view of the other board members who said that in order to get a loan, we have to have 100% people sign off on it. So is it true that you have taken out a line of credit?
Yes, but the line of credit is small. It's $70,000, and it is secured by our existing receipts monthly.
We haven't pulled any money out.
Can you tell us the term of that and what the interest rate is?
I think it's 3% and
Yeah, but
there's
it's
a
only
fee
for
if you
use.
use it.
That's pretty good.
Right.
Thank you.
But
US
that's why
bank.
it's 70, and that's why we can't go above 70.
Is that in the bylaws too?
No, that's what the bankers have told us, you know, so we're up against the banks. Yes.
So you said earlier that you're gonna set up accounts separately so you can manage this.
Yeah.
What's the risk or the probability that you will be able to achieve all of this with the funds that you're collecting? Is there 20% risk that you might not achieve all of this? Any feel for that?
We, oh, do you have a number?
Well,
We discussed that in the board and looking at past assessments. Looking at past assessments, a year later, we've achieved about 97% payment. For instance, that $950 that you all paid last year for the roof assessment actually paid for the 3 roofs that were here. So we got the money and we spent it the way we told you we were going to. We're hopeful that within the first 2.5 years, we have, again, 96, 95% of the money that we've assessed.
We are anticipating that the number might be higher, you know, so we might, you know, it might go up to 10 or 12% of the total. And if it's that kind of a number, we would be in a position to take from the existing budget to cover the shortfall. But of course, when we do that, just as a reminder, that's using all of your money to pay things that some of you should, which is the way we manage it.
So one follow-on, when you let these contracts, are you gonna have any provisions in case they actually go bankrupt? Do we have any insurance that covers us in case we've already paid them?
I remember the siding, contract specifically. And they have built in.
You don't pay
They
ahead of
have.
time, do you?
They
You
have.
don't pay it ahead of time, do you?
We have to
I mean, they do
go,
the work and then you pay.
we have a payment to start the work,
Okay.
and then payments at delivery dates as the project.
On the roofs, we've never paid Bradley a dime until they were completely done. There was a RIF from a solar install. The solar company paid the entire repair. Bradley affected the entire repair.
I'm Matt Sonborn, I'm in 3240. Just want to say thanks for showing up and the volunteer work that you do. And please recognize that any vitriol you're feeling is frustration from us and not
Oh, I
necessarily
totally
personal.
get it.
That was on my part. So I'm going to say something that I think is fairly obvious, and I hope you'll all bear with me in that. Some suggestions for alternative structures for paying have been suggested. And I think that there are two things that pretty much everybody in this room is willing to grant. First, 2 years is probably as much time as we really have to get this money together, first. And second, that a significant amount of that money needs to show up really soon, tomorrow, 3 days from now, what have you. But as I'm sitting here listening to the options, 2 years is divisible by more than just 2, right? And so my very obvious suggestion idea is, why not 4, right? Why is it that if you add up the total for the 2 roofs and the $50,000 for the earnest money, and any of the immediately needed monies, that adds up to about $350,000. Why is it that we can't take this total amount and split it into 4, or at the very least 3 over 2 years? We're still getting that 2-year number. We're still getting the money up front. I sort of feel like I'm calling out all the other suggested alternative structures that we've gotten so far. And so that's my suggestion here. Why not 3? Why not 4 over 2 years? It would be a 6-month, 6-month per assessment period if you opted for a 4. So that's my question.
Yeah. Certainly a way that could be done.
Well, you know, I would just say again that some people have paid early, and that's just the point of getting the project started. And then some people will need to make accommodations with the office to pay differently than 2. Those options exist. I just want to reiterate that this is no different than any dues or assessments that we've ever done before. We work with people, that's our policy. If they won't call us back, if they initiate legal action against the Remington Post, then we have your needs to look after, and we have to go and collect that money, or else it's just on us. So I just wanted to say that in effect, you've got those options.
Can I follow?
Yes, if you wish.
Yeah, so, thank you. And I think that doing it ad hoc like that has some real benefits, right? It accommodates a lot of things that